Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Take It Easy with Rajeev, where we bring you inspiring conversation with the minds shaping our digital future. Today, I have the honor of speaking with one of India's most celebrated and versatile technology leader, Mr. Vijay Sethi. A true IT leader for digital transformation and sustainability, Vijay sir is serving on the boards of several pioneering companies across tech, quantum, computing, EVs, cybersecurity, and many more. His mentor, advisor, and thought leader whose journey has inspired countless professionals across the globe. His incredible track record from leading landmark digital initiatives to being recognized with dozens of prestigious awards, including Lifetime Achievement Award, Global CIO Award, and India's most innovative CSR Leader Award, speaks volumes of his impact on the Indian IT market. Get ready for a deep, insightful conversation that spans technology, leadership, sustainability, and the future of innovation in India and beyond. Welcome to the show, Vijay sir. Sir, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Wonderful to have you here.
Thank you, Rajeev. Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor to be part of your podcast.
Yes, sir. हम सब जानते हैं. I know a lot of industry friends, and the brands or the customers or the partners who know you, because you have served the industry, you have seen the evolution, how it has happened. आज हम AI की बात कर रहे हैं या डिजिटल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन की बात कर रहे हैं, बट आपने सर उसका जन्म देखा है, बड़ा करते हुए देखा है, आज वो मैच्योर हो चुका है. तो इस पूरे इतने साल की जो जर्नी है सर आपकी, उसको कैसे देखते हैं? पहला रिएक्शन तो मैं उस पर आपसे चाहूंगा सर. हाउ डू यू सी दिस long year of service?
I think IT has changed a lot. I remember IT managers being called EDP managers or prior to that. So what used to happen was IT was a room, a corner room which was given, which no one was using.
Okay.
The only good thing about IT people at that time was that was the only room which had an AC.
Okay.
Because you had to
cool down the machine.
You had to cool down the machines, so-called servers, which are maybe less powerful than today's PCs. They used to be the servers over there.
Right.
And then you had manual communications and all those. Email was not there, talking of those days. So at that time, the key thing was basic automation. So that is how IT started with.
You're talking about which years?
I'll say 90s.
90s. Initial 90s.
Early 90s.
Right.
Early 90s, late 80s.
Right.
So where it was primarily about automation, basic automation. Things moved. Say if we come to 2000 or so, that's the time when internet became a bit prevalent.
The bug symptoms were there.
In fact, prior to that, I remember even for internet, we used to have those small cards we'll put in over there and feel very happy, or dialers used to be there. I don't know whether you're aware of that or not.
मैंने पढ़ा है sir, देखा नहीं है.
Okay.
Right.
So one would dial a particular number to getting. It's like STD phones those days, or ISD. So something similar on the PC. It used to be costly, and but then came the internet revolution, which really changed the IT part. So IT, from purely being a backroom, started coming to the front part, which is e-commerce. Websites came in first, then e-commerce came in. You felt so happy that you are advertising your own organization on your computer. You can see the details. Then you could place orders. So the e-commerce came in. And then from that, then came the mobile revolution, and now AI and agentic AI and quantum computing. So now the world has really changed. One big difference that I see, at that time it was pure tactical automation. Today, IT has become strategic in the organizations. At that time, IT was primarily backend, talking to people within the organization, few people. Today, the IT manager is more outgoing because there's so much of external world or external stakeholders to be taken care. Your customers, your suppliers, so many other stakeholders, apart from all the employees who want to work from anywhere. Right. So the entire CIO's role has totally changed over last maybe 30 years, if I can use that word.
हम तो सिर्फ सुन रहे हैं सर, और हमें when I interview leaders like you, I usually come to know about the things which has already happened. But it's something, with magical things has happened. Technology has changed our life.
Absolutely.
And you guys have played very important role. All the CIOs and CTOs who have taken this challenging role. पहले तो सर काम आसान था जब एक कमरे में रह रहे थे. But जब अब काम बढ़ा, जब you have to look on the work from home, So I think, your last role was at Hero. You worked as a full-time. सो जब आपने सर उस रोल को छोड़ के फिर आपने इंडिपेंडेंट रोल्स लेने शुरू किए तो दैट वाज ईयर 2021 राइट सर यू शेयर्ड अबाउट हाउ थिंग्स हैज चेंज्ड टेक्नोलॉजी पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से लेकिन आपको आपको हम लोग जानते हैं सर एज अ लीडर एज अ टेक लीडर एज अ CIO सक्सेसफुल CIO बिल्ट लॉट ऑफ कंपनीज IT इंफ्रा अपनी इतनी कंपनीज का बनाया बट वो विजय जो कभी बच्चा रहा होगा और बड़े हुए होंगे कॉलेज स्कूल उसके बारे में मेरे को लगता नहीं कि किसी ऑडियंस को पता होगा बट हमारे इस प्लेटफॉर्म से हम जानना चाहेंगे आपका जन्म कहाँ हुआ कैसे इनिशियल डेज रहे हैं आपके चैलेंजिंग रहे हैं या फिर कंफर्ट जोन रहा है कैसा रहा है सर
So I was born in a city called Chandigarh. So did all my schooling over there. Then did my engineering, mechanical engineering. There was no computer engineering at that time. So after mechanical engineering, then I did my masters.
Okay.
So mechanical engineering I did from at that time it was called 𝐷𝐸𝐭. Now it's called NIT 𝐓𝐞𝐜𝐡. Then went for my masters. So MTech, which I did in industrial engineering from an institute called NITI, which is now called IIM Mumbai. And then I did an MBA.
Okay.
And then over the years I've also done various other courses from IIM Ahmedabad, Harvard,
Yes.
various
I've
other
seen your
places. Did a leadership program at ISB, a lot of stuff, and I continue to do lot more courses even now.
Right.
So last few weeks I would have done few of those.
Right, sir.
So that's how my journey started.
Right.
And it's an interesting thing. I think
You missed the childhood portion. If you can share something how it was, कैसा था आपके घर में माहौल सर बिकॉज़ आपने इतने स्टूडियस रहे होगे तभी अब इतना बढ़ के आ
वो
गया
लगता है सबको हर एक को लगता है एंड एट द व्हेन यू लुक एट हाइंडसाइट यू विल ऑलवेज से कि हाँ स्टूडियस रहे होंगे तो माँ बाप को ही पूछना पड़ेगा सो इट्स नॉट दैट बट आई थिंक आई वाज ओके विद द स्टडीज आई वोंट से वाज बैड सो was
support from siblings वो लोग कैसे हैं
so I got so parents are there they stay in Chandigarh 2 sisters younger to me and all of us had a lot of fun at that time
you had a great time in childhood no
yeah absolutely even now
स्कूल की कुछ यादें मिस करते हैं स्कूल से
हाँ बहुत कुछ
स्कूल कैसे स्कूल था गवर्नमेंट स्कूल
no it was a government school so
it used to be government school that time
it was a government school but only so in Chandigarh so there are various kinds of government schools there's Hindi medium, Punjabi medium, English medium. So I was lucky to be in the English medium school. So it's among the decent or top government schools in Chandigarh. And did well over there.
So sir, आपको मतलब उस टाइम में when did you thought that you want to be in something जो टेक से हो या फिर कुछ
Never.
So you did mechanical.
So mechanical. So I was not computers.
हाँ, but it was something दिमाग लगाना है सर. Mechanical engineering.
So दिमाग लगाना is different from getting into tech world. So they're two different things.
Right.
So I think when I was doing engineering, I had no inclination that I'll ever get into IT.
IT.
Then did my masters, which was in industrial engineering. I wanted to become a consultant.
Engineering was in your mind. That's it only, not the computer.
No, computer was never.
खाली नहीं शायद.
पता नहीं. बहुत कम. There used to be computer room.
Was.
You used to go to computer
But
room.
that-
CEO मोटा बड़ा सा होता था.
But जब आपने मैकेनिकल किया मेरे को लगता है शायद मैकेनिकल की डिमांड ज्यादा रही होगी.
हाँ, उस टाइम पे the highest was mechanical. highest was mechanical, and even when I did my MTech, I did have option to go for a masters in computer science, but I didn't at some of these IITs. But I didn't go to that. I went to NITI, and then I joined TCS.
The first.
But TCS, I was not into their software part. So TCS at that time had a separate group called Management Consulting Division. So I was a management consultant over there. I was not a software person.
The first job was TCS.
First-
Right, sir. Yes, से पहले भी कुछ था.
The first job was TCS. In fact, I had an option before that,
Okay.
which was
This was a campus or नहीं?
this campus. So
Bright students को campus से ही ले जाते हैं. That
वो
is
पता
true.
नहीं. So I actually had an offer from Indian Engineering Services (UPSC).
Okay.
So instead of joining IES, I joined TCS.
तो घर वालों ने बोला नहीं कि IES क्यों छोड़ रहे?
No, they were happy. IES, not AES.
IES, okay.
Engineering Services, Indian
Okay.
Engineering Services. So they said it's your life, you decide. So उनको कोई टेंशन नहीं थी. So 96 I was there. I was into various kinds of consulting projects, strategy projects, org structure, market entry strategies, marketing strategies, those kind of projects.
You were more into management and.
It was only management consulting. Supply chain. It was not called supply chain at that time. It was called materials management. So those kind of things. Then 96 I joined Ranbaxy. Pharmaceuticals. So Ranbaxy at that time was India's first multinational.
Okay.
There I got first into their internal consulting group, which was called Business Solutions Group, which was part of IT.
Okay.
And there my IT journey started in Ranbaxy.
Okay. So you joined Ranbaxy in which year?
96.
96. Just after TCS you joined it.
5-7 days from one job to the
I said, how do you switched management to this IT? So कुछ था आपके दिमाग में कि नहीं ये interesting area मुझे
No,
पसंद आएगी?
I don't think it was about any interesting area in the mind. So, interesting part of that story is that it's kind of career change. So,
Okay.
once
Someone guided you or what?
I'll tell you. So, when 1989, it was thought that I don't want to go to IES, I want to get into consulting. But as you proceed in consulting, one thing always comes at the back of your mind that do people perceive you just as those guys who will come and give ज्ञान and just go away? इन्होंने खुद तो कभी कुछ किया नहीं है, consultant है.
Correct.
So that was always there at the back of my mind, and of course one would discuss these things among peers. A lot of consultants, everyone would. So there's a time I said that forget consulting now. Having spent 7-8 years in consulting, let me just. There are not very many people actually.
It used to be highly paid job उस समय sir.
Decent.
Decent.
Salaries were decent, so I won't say guineas. It was decent salaries. So then I said, let me just try out manufacturing. People said, होएगा नहीं तुमसे. Because most of the people don't actually move from consulting. It's not easy to move because the culture in a consulting environment is very different from a consulting manufacturing environment. And that's what was kind of challenge that I took on myself.
Okay.
And then I was, by God's grace, I was very, very successful at Ranbaxy and then moved on to Hero. And
This is your turning point. सर की पूरी स्टोरी का ये टर्निंग पॉइंट है. अगर शायद TCS से कंसल्टिंग में रह जाते तो you would not have been into.
हाँ, correct.
कुछ और जर्नी हो.
कुछ और जर्नी तो you're right. या पहले गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर में कुछ और जर्नी होता. So these are two key turning points in my life. So that was good. So since I didn't come from IT background at that time, so I had to study a lot, learn a lot about IT. So I did lot of certifications on IT, maybe more than 20 certifications. And whatever was there in IT those days, इतनी किताबें लाता था.
पढ़ने का तो सर आपको शुरू
So
से
I
किया रहा है.
would read all those things and then kind of that helped me a lot. And many people who were in IT at that time, so within few months, few years, I could say that I would know more than many of those guys. So it helped a lot. So I grew a lot over there. And
That's now the history. और वो हिस्ट्री हमारे प्लेटफॉर्म पे आ रहा है और लोगों को पता चल रहा है टेक इट इजी विद राजीव के इस शो पे कि इट्स नॉट समथिंग यू शुड लूज योर होप बिकॉज आपको सर आज हम ये बातें कर रहे हैं इतने साल पीछे जाके बट एट दैट टाइम यू आर वेरी यंग यू कुड हैव डाइवर्टेड आपने कुछ अलग रास्ता चुन लिया होता. आई एम श्योर कि कहीं भी होते सक्सेसफुल होते हैं सर बट फॉर्चुनेट है हमारे आईटी इंडस्ट्री के लिए कि आप हमारे टेक में हो और यू हैव कंट्रीब्यूटेड अ लॉट. सर रैनबैक्सी एक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनी वो भी उस समय उतना जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटी इतनी इजी से नहीं मिलती थी. लिमिटेड कंपनीज थी. कैसे जॉब मिल जाता था? कैसे ढूंढते थे लोग जॉब?
नहीं जैसे आज ढूंढते वैसे ही.
ऑनलाइन तो है नहीं सर. आप तो
ऑनलाइन वाले लोग तब ऑफलाइन होता था. दे यूज्ड टू बी कंसल्टेंट्स. You would approach consultants or consultants would approach you.
Okay.
So that's how it works.
So अपना डेटा मतलब रिज्यूम डाल देते थे वो कॉल आता था कि भाई ये इंटरव्यू है ये है दिस वे या फिर वो न्यूज़पेपर में जो एडवर्टाइजमेंट आता था.
I don't think न्यूज़पेपर होता था उन दिनों. मतलब इतनी एड्स नहीं आती थी.
आपने सर एक्चुअली जॉब आपने ज़्यादा चेंज नहीं करी. जो जॉब ज़्यादा चेंज कर रहा है उसको पता है.
इसलिए मेरे को ज़्यादा नहीं. Just changed 2 jobs in my life.
Right. So moving to next part, we can see revolution. एक क्रांति ही हुई है. Evolution तो हुआ है
in IT.
In IT.
Absolutely. It has changed a lot.
Right. And sir, if we talk about your leadership, because leadership plays a very important role, and you have served many companies. So how you will define? You have been always forefront. You have to take care of your team, the entire IT infrastructure, and everything. So how do you define digital leadership today, which has already changed, and how has it evolved over the years? So कुछ changing आपने observe किया होगा और कैसा अभी है?
So I think I, at personal level, I was lucky that when I joined TCS, within 1 or 2 years, in fact less than that, I was given the role of a project leader. So which generally people get at 8 to 10 years experience at that time. But that really helped me to hone my leadership skills. Also could see a lot of people around me who were, some of them were real good leaders, and one would learn from that. So if I see the leaders of today and compare and first look at myself, I think a couple of traits that really have helped me a lot is from which came from consulting background. Is one is when you talk to someone, you have to listen more and speak less. Most of the leaders make that mistake. They just don't want to listen to their teams. They think that I have to impose my thing, my word. क्योंकि सुनने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं है, ma'am. So I think in consulting, right up front, we were taught that. And that has stayed with me a lot. Another attribute from a leadership perspective, as I see, which really has helped and which for me is really very important, is integrity. That's paramount. And started my career at Tata's, and they were kind of at that top of integrity. So that's kind of rubbed into the entire. So that has held a lot. Second is empathy. You have to see what the other person. You are not here just to extract work. That you're first a human being and then a manager and then a leader and then that. But first is human being. The other guy is also a human being. He may be junior to me, you or she may be junior to you, but at the end, he or she is first a human being. Can you really understand them? Have that personal rapport. That really helps a lot and empower people. Anyone who joins organizations, when I joined, I wanted to grow. Anyone who comes in today wants to grow. We always think that there are a lot of people who just come because they come to office and don't want to work. That's a common perception that one has. But to my mind, anyone who gets into job, most of them would want to grow, would want to contribute. And if you give them right opportunities, if you give them the right support, they'll make mistakes, but you can't be just telling them every time that no, this is what you did wrong, this. But you also show the way. So this is how you can, and support them if they're making mistakes. It really helps a lot. So the team is always there to then support you. So you spoke about initially, for example, that got so many awards and all that. The reality is, I don't think it was I who was working in any of these organizations or IT or HR or CSR. Or it's a team that works. Right. But you have to ensure that they work properly. They are motivated enough to work. They are giving their best. That's what leadership is all about. Right. Now, coming to the second part of your question, that how it has evolved over the years, and from the tech part of it. Right. Tech leaders, as I said earlier, their job was to ensure that automation works. Today, with technology changing so fast, a tech leader has to be more visionary. Understanding as to what, say for example, if artificial intelligence has come in, or agentic AI is coming, or something else is coming, quantum is coming, how is it really likely to help my organization or impact my organization in a positive or a negative way? What changes do I need to make in my own IT systems or organization or the architecture so that it works? So it has to be. And second, the person also has to be kind of collaborative, because you can't do everything on your own. Whether it is startups, whether it is other organizations, you have to work collaboratively a lot. Right. So that's how the leadership styles also have to change as you progress.
Right, sir. And so, for you, it was very fortunate that you worked in the TCS and you learned the management skills, because, as a leader, the words which you said about, about the team, importance of team, caring for them is really matters today also. lot of कितनी चीजें बदल गई हैं, बट आज भी अगर CIO और CTO अगर अपनी उस टीम की केयर नहीं करते, उनकी नहीं सुनते हैं, तो that
principles remains same.
Yeah, principle remains the same. So वहाँ कोई change नहीं आया है. We have to follow that, right, sir? So I think on this, this is a very strong message from your side to all the new young IT leaders who want to succeed. They need to understand that these are the basics who will remain forever the same.
Absolutely.
Sir, you have worked in a very diversified industry, manufacturing, the consulting, and now as an advisory roles you are having. So, what have been the most defining moments of your professional journey? बहुत सारे moments होंगे, but उसमें एक pick करना है सर आपको.
जैसे मैंने बताया, so for example, when I moved from TCS to Ranbaxy, and getting from consulting into a manufacturing environment where I was asked to head SAP implementation. First, evaluate SAP, and then, so I'm talking of 96 or 97 when we started the SAP journey over there. So at that time, SAP, for example, was not known even in India much. Very few handful of companies. But that was a time when first you had to learn, and that really changed that trajectory. And from SAP, then I moved on to IT and moved on to the leadership roles, and eventually, I remember 96 or 90, around 96, first time when I met as somebody from SAP, it was kind of, okay, you're meeting somebody from SAP, and by grace of God, for last 10 odd years, I was the chairman of SAP user group, and that, so all these guys, so is interacting with all of them. So that's how the things have evolved over the years. But that was one defining moment. Another defining moment I would say is from Ranbaxy. Then when I moved on, I took over the role of CIO, and then at that time, I think 2014 or so, I was also asked to handle CSR. That was again a very
Out of the box things.
out of box. From my school days, I was involved in social service a lot. Used to go to villages around and do.
That came from the family.
Yeah, it was kind of the environment over there. So it helped me a lot. So I easily got into that role and could contribute a lot, and also helped my own personal evolution a lot. And then HR, and then things changed.
So obviously, means the kind of work you did for one organization, it's a multiple role you handled. So that says about the quality you are having. You are fortunate, and God is very kind to you, sir.
God has been kind.
Yes. Sir, now you are deeply involved in mentorship, and you have a platform also. What's the biggest gap you see in today's young professionals, and how you can fix them or you can advise them?
थोड़ा मुश्किल वाला है. See, I do mentor a lot. In fact, there's so many current, even the CIOs whom I mentor, current, some formally, some informally, many number twos I mentor. And I do actually interact with a lot of them. A few things which, since you asked, what could be the potential areas of improvement, I'll just on the negative side of it. One thing that I've seen over the last few years is that many of these guys actually do not get into depth of things. Unfortunate part. Yeah. So they would know things only at surface. You scratch the surface, ask two difficult questions, they're gone.
R&D is zero.
The basic knowledge is zero, not R&D, basic knowledge. So when for example, in my current role, I also interview a lot of CIOs. For a lot of people, a lot of organizations, I interview CIOs. So it's very clear that the depth of knowledge is not there.
This is one major issue.
To me, it's one of the biggest issues that you can't be a good leader unless you really know the subject. So there's a huge dependence on the vendors or your team members, or now with ChatGPT, Deepseek, this, that, all those things. So there's a huge dependence on them. Right. Your own inherent knowledge is not there. That to me is the biggest gap, and many of them are not willing to put in that hard work.
They need success very early.
They need success. And there are times when, of course, success does breed arrogance in many of these. I don't know whether you would have noticed in your own programs when these guys come in. Many of these guys also are not humble.
Right.
So when you are not humble, you can't be a good leader at all. I'm convinced on that part.
So, the major thing you would advise about, study a lot about your topic.
So I know, I just advise them on 3 or 4 things, major ones.
Right.
One is study, as you rightly said. I think it's not just about study, but keep yourself updated. Because the world today, especially from an IT perspective, is changing so fast that whatever you learnt 2 years back may not be valid today. So if on 29th of November 22, you knew something about IT, I'm giving a specific date, 29th November 22, you knew a lot about IT, okay? 30th November 22, ChatGPT is launched. You had no clue about ChatGPTs. And suddenly you are just thinking there's some AIs, it will do something for, and now AI is impacting kids of 4-year age.
Right.
Who could have imagined on 29th of November 22 that this is going to happen? Now, the CIO has to think as to how this is really going to change my organization. How can I use it? And then while you are thinking of this, then other stuff, Deepseek came and other things came and then agentic AI came. If you are not fully updated on how this thing works or how can it impact my organization, you just know at the surface, you can never generate value for your organization. That's where they need to update themselves very regularly. That's one major piece of advice that I give.
Yeah, that is the bottom line because you are in tech. If you are on a tech startup or tech things you're working, so tech has something these kind of challenge. If you're not listening, if you're not doing much of work.
No, I was not at startups. I was at corporates.
Corporates.
Startups वालों को तो technology आती है.
अच्छा.
I'm at corporate.
Corporate,
guys.
right. So
I'm at corporate guys. The so-called IT leaders, IT managers, all those guys. The CIOs, IT heads.
Okay.
I'm talking with those guys.
So this is a very major concern because if your findings in a larger corporate offices, such leaders who are careless and who are not, being updated and all.
There are many.
Yeah.
There are many. I'll put it. There are many.
Right.
So they need to focus a lot.
Obviously, and now because those were the days you can sit and you can see the results, but now in an era where cyber attacks, generative AI, and a lot of things are happening. So if you're not listening to these advices and you're not working for a better future of your organization, that means
I think they're two different things. You're a bit contradictory. You're working for the better future of the organization, which is right because then you're using vendors, you're using other, but you're not updating yourself. You're not getting into your own professional growth.
Right.
So I'm not saying that you're not impacting. You can call all these big SIs, small SIs, big consultants, small consultants. They'll do all the work for you.
Right.
So it's not about the organization getting impacted, but are you really contributing as you are expected to contribute?
It's about leadership quality.
Since we are talking about leadership quality.
Yes.
So just that.
I contradict you. But okay, thanks for clarity, sir. So that our messages are going very right to the right person, and we are not making any controversy.
No, we should not.
Yes. And sir, since we are talking about organization and corporates and also one of the challenges as a media, we know that financing is one of the hurdle for the CIOs and CTOs to purchase and buy out solutions, and solutions are being very costly these days. Monthly subscription आ गया है. पहले one used to one payment then lifetime के लिए आपको license मिलता था, but अब कितने challenges है. So we often hear about CIO versus CFO conflicts when it comes to the IT budgets. How can CIOs prove their worth in boardrooms dominated by finance-driven decisions?
So I think again I'll make a change over here. Okay. This is not just because subscription आ गया है, or you have to do monthly and one time. Even when it used to be a one-time thing, 10 years back, 15 years back. Even then, getting an IT budget used to be a challenge for a lot of people. Fortunately, I was lucky I never had that challenge. But my learnings, I can share some of my learnings as to why it was not. It's not that. So one of the key learnings over here is, there's some mistake many IT leaders also make. You should not be using everything as a technical language. You have to demonstrate the benefits of a project in a business language. I am doing an ERP because I want to put data of this and then put a workflow and this. No. This is how it is going to help the organization 1, 2, 3, whether purchase function, whether sales function, this one. Okay. I'm doing a CRM, it will help our marketing function, this. I'm putting in HRMS, this is how it is going to help. So that's one. The second is, have a huge collaboration with the business leaders of that. So you're doing a HR project. It's not that a CIO has to justify that. Your CHRO has to justify. If you're doing something on production and IoT, your production head has to say that yes, it is going to really deliver value to me. Okay. Right. Similarly for others. So when you start talking in terms of value, rather than trying to just talk of technology. No, now agentic AI has come and so we need to.
Everyone is adopting. We need to adopt.
So we need to adopt. No, I don't care. You say that, okay, this is going to help us in this way. This will improve my top line, and this will improve my bottom line, improve my cost efficiencies. It will help me improve productivity, reduce inefficiencies, whatever it may be. Talk of that business language. Then chances are that you will never have an issue with CFO, or for that matter, with any member of the board, because at the end of the day, they also understand that in any organization, technology is important. But what they want to see is, does the leader have the conviction that when he or she is putting up that technology, is it for the benefit of the organization? Does he or she understand as to how this technology will help my organization in meeting my objectives of top line, bottom line, others, whatever it may be, or an employee satisfaction or a customer satisfaction? Or is it that they just want to say that I have deployed this solution, and then you figure out as to what the benefits could be? That's where the thing is. But if the CIO or CTOs use these two words, they behave as business leaders rather than technical leaders in those discussions,
Job will be done.
it will be done smooth. There won't be any challenge whatsoever. And you have to be receptive. You have to also understand their perspective. You don't have to, no, I have to do this, no. You have to be receptive. It has to be.
Right, so means nowadays it's very easy to convince. I guess क्या challenge कुछ आया है सर आज convince हम easily कर सकते हैं. Principle तो आपने बता दिया. These are the principles you need to put up with the management about convincing the benefits rather than talking about the quality of the products what they are doing. तो सर अभी भी उतना मतलब अभी भी अगर इस चीज को हटा दिया जाए सर तो जो सुनने में आता है कि IT बजट्स कट हो गए. CFO is not allowing to spend a single penny. जब क्राइसिस आता है तो खासकर ये होता है तो उस टाइम में फिर कैसे मैनेज करते हैं? मे बी आपका एक्सपीरियंस कोई हमारे साथ हो, आपने कहा फॉर्चुनेटली नहीं हुआ बट आपके कुलीग हो सकते हैं जिनसे ये आपने सुना होगा कि एक डिसीजन मैनेजमेंट ने नहीं लिया राइट टाइम पे और कुछ बहुत बड़ा नुकसान हो गया.
So there are times when it does happen in many organizations, and that is where if you collaborate well with the other business stakeholders, whether it is CFO, whether it is other guys, chances are that you will not face that issue. Or if you face that issue, then it's a collective decision that all of us decide that we are not going ahead with this security solution, and then something happened. But there is a collaborative decision. I had shared. No, it's not about blame. For me, blame is irrespective. So let's not bring in the blame part of it into this entire thing. But the key thing is, it's a conscious call that all of us have taken that is not. I'm just at that.
So from the point of organization's goal, from organization's benefit. And
so that's where when you are discussing that, you are acting as a business leader, not as an IT leader. So when I'm acting as a business leader, then I take a conscious call. Some of those calls may go wrong. Nothing wrong about that part. I'm not worried. But at least it's a conscious call.
Right. So that's the best way to work for the organizations, not be IT leader. We should understand that we have to prove our proposal to management that this is going to benefit to the entire system. We can grow our revenue, the sales will increase. So this way, am I right, sir?
It's not just we have to prove. The person, the department for which whom you are doing this job, you have to jointly do that.
It's a team effort. We have to do.
It's a collaboration.
Very nice piece of advice you have shared with us, sir. Thank you so much. Now we are shifting something. I just मेरे अभी जब ये क्वेश्चन में आपसे बात कर रहा था तो सर एक चीज अभी के टाइम में पर जो प्रोसेस है सर, if you need something in your system, in your organizations, maybe larger organization or mid-sized organizations, you have all calculation on paper. I have to procure or acquire these things. So the process from टेंडर से लेके implementation तक जो time duration था या पहले maybe even in the quotation part also, so कितना change आया है जब 15 साल पहले जो आपने ये हीरो से शुरू किया अपनी जर्नी को या फिर उससे पहले शुरू किया and आज के डेट में so क्या change आया है?
So number one, the expectations have changed a lot. Say, I remember the first SAP implementation I did at that time. Generally, if you complete an SAP implementation in 1 year, and IT implementation, 1 year, 1.5 years, you are considered to be among the faster ones and doing a good job. Today,
Before 2000.
I'm talking 90s. But today, there are people whose expectation is that if I'm discussing something with you, by tomorrow morning when I come to office, will it be implemented? So that's where people get into things like hackathon. I'll invite all my team in the night, they'll just work on it and maybe do a prototype tomorrow morning. So the expectations have changed a lot. Because life of many of these solutions is also shortened. So some of those things that you want to do today, their life may be just 2 months or 3 months. You're just doing it because you don't want to run a campaign for next 3 months and do something. Or you know that there's a window of opportunity for next 3 months. Can IT really help me in ensuring this is done well? And if you take 4 months to do that project and get into all these quotations and RFPs and all, and take 4 months, by the time it really is not required, then you'll say, okay, thank you very much. Nice knowing you.
So, Mr. Rav, this is a major.
So, I think the key message for leaders over here is agility. You can't be just working at the pace that you used to work. You have to work at the pace which the organization wants you to work on. Many of times we do not work at the pace which the organization, and we feel that no, every time ये आते हैं तो उनको हर चीज कल ही चाहिए थी, yesterday वाली बात. But reality is that even the guys in the business many times are not aware of what changes are being brought in, and they have to act immediately. So we know that the world is changing so fast, and every day in some countries something happens, you have to change your strategies.
Right.
And if you do, and then maybe after a few weeks, few months, those strategies have to be changed further.
Right.
But if IT guy says पहले क्यों नहीं बताया to the business guy मेरे को कौन सा पता था?
Right.
And that's where you have to be so agile in your entire process that you do it really fast. You ensure that your processes are also fast. It's not just for IT, but even other business leaders. So if you have a procurement process, can I ensure that today I call somebody, get the necessary quotes by end of day, tomorrow morning the purchase order is given along with advance. So rather than even that process taking 1 month or 2 months or 3 months, can that be cut down to 1 day or 2 days?
Right.
And then you do the entire thing again and compress the entire project. So everyone has to work because they're truly VUCA world.
So, a lot of things have changed. Deployment, implementation can be taken within 24 hours, depending on the system's network. But as you know, system is connected. We are working on a networking world, so it can be done from a headquarters to all branches and everything.
कहीं से करो.
सर बहुत मैंने एक दो काफी CIO से जब बात करी तो एक चैलेंज जब रहता है जब डिप्लॉयमेंट फाइनल स्टेज पे होता है. सो वहाँ पे क्या प्रिकॉशंस होता है व्हेन यू हैव चेंज सम सिस्टम और आपको डिप्लॉय करना है, दिस इज अ टेस्टिंग टाइम. सो वो मोमेंट कैसा होता है एज अ CIO लीडर? यू आर रिस्पांसिबल, यू आर मेकिंग द चेंज.
आज से इंटरेस्टिंग होता है टू से द लीस्ट, बट बैंड बजा होता है. So the key thing over here is, are you really doing your testing well before deployment? Is it whether your IT team doing a testing, whether your users doing an acceptance testing? Are they really doing, or are you just doing a tick? So instead of testing all the 100 odd scenarios, just tested the top 2 and said that things are fine. And when you go into production, you face all the fun because you are not tested the other ones. But I think the rigor that has to go into 2 things from pre-deployment, as I see. One is testing. It has to be very rigorous, where both business and IT teams, the collaboration works, and they have to give time. And you have to ensure that if the bugs come in, they are resolved there and then. The second piece along with that is training. Because even if you are tested well, but if you are not trained the users well, when you go live, they'll not be able to use the system.
Right.
So, tests. So, if you see some of my blogs or other places, webinars, I put it before go live, test, and again test. Train, and again train. You have to give a huge focus on that, because you are not just doing it for sake of doing. You are implementing a project. The people have to use it, and they have to use it for quite some time. So if it's not tested well or people are not trained well, you will never get the value out of that. And then that's where IT will earn a bad name. And next time when you go to CFO, he says, "पिछला project तो तुमसे ढंग से हुआ नहीं, मैं क्यों पैसे दूँ?" So it actually becomes a vicious circle from that perspective.
It's all about reputation and company reputation भी है. System fail हो गया, site नहीं चल रहा.
Absolutely.
Lot of rejections are happening.
Yes.
So obviously testing and training.
Testing.
Training. 3 बार testing है. Okay. So because this is needed and sir वैसे तो हर CIO जो होता है, IT leader होते हैं, they don't want to fail. और but कभी हुआ है ऐसा आपके जाने वाले की fail हो गया?
बहुत बार होता है.
तो क्या consequences होते हैं? I just wanted to know कि क्या होता है फिर उसके बाद?
I think a definition of failure is something that we need to look at. For example, when you look at ERP implementations, there are people who say that, and I also am one of those, who say that 70-75% ERP implementations fail.
Oh.
Okay. So what does it mean? So first we have to see the definition of failure. Failure doesn't mean that the system doesn't work. The software works, hardware works, whatever. It works.
Issues with the data and maybe.
No, even the data works, everything works. The key thing for a failure is when I start an IT project, I have to first start with the first thing as to what my business objectives are. Why am I doing it? If I'm not meeting those objectives, I'm a failure. Software may be running, everything, people using it, but if I'm just using it as a typewriter, an ERP for example, just using it for typewriter, not for a good analytics tool or changing the way my processes had to be changed or getting global best practices, but I'm just doing whatever I was doing, but now instead of doing it on normal small Word, Excel kind of thing, but I'm doing it in a fancy software. For me, it's a failure. And that's where we need to define as to what the failure means. Consequences, you asked? I think consequences is, I'm not getting into an extreme consequence that people would ask. Right. But the key thing is, there's huge amount of rework that needs to be done in case you want to correct the things. Or the second consequence is, in case you do not put that, the company would always live with a suboptimal solution for its entire life, which could be a huge drain on the productivity, efficiency of the organization as such full, not just the IT team. That's a big, big consequence.
We have seen a lot of trends. आपने खुद trends की बहुत सारे trends की बात करी है और AI जिसके बिना ये podcast complete नहीं हो सकता कि AI पे हर कोई बात कर रहा है. How do you see the AI is impacting organization currently in a better ways or in negative ways if they are not utilizing AI?
So both ways. Actually, AI to my mind is one of the biggest game changers of our lifetime. The internet came, that really changed from an IT perspective. Then mobile, and now AI. Yeah. It is really changing the entire way the organizations work. If people can utilize the power of AI, it will help a lot. You asked about the organizations. I've been talking of objectives of the organization a lot. So actually AI can help you improve your business model, how you are doing a business. And from that, you can improve your top line, revenues. There are a lot of revenues streams that can be generated, how you augment, get into new customer segments, whom to focus on. That will help you get better revenues. It can help you reduce your costs a lot. Again, which helps in improving your profits. So AI can help you. Today, in today's world, compliance and cybersecurity, cyber threats you spoke about earlier, is a big thing. So AI can actually help you in mitigating many of those threats. There's also a negative part. We'll come to negative from a cybersecurity perspective. We'll come to that in a minute. But since first you spoke about the positives, so AI can help. Product quality. In fact, people are using, this is one of the big use cases of AI which is going on today. So vision, for example, if I have this bottle and I have to see the quality, from naked eye it will not be, but I put an AI camera on top of it. And these kind of bottles are running in hundreds and thousands per minute or per hour, whatever the speed is. The camera is ensuring that if there's some defect, which is not even visible by a naked eye, or you have to put in so many people to see, and even then defective parts really go out. So AI ensures that the quality of the products which go into market is much better. That improves your sales, improves your reputation. So AI can actually help you a lot. People are using AI, for example, if I'm managing 100 projects, okay, it's manually impossible for 1 or 2 or 3 project managers to see as to what is happening on those projects. Now, what people are doing today is, can I put all the data of all these projects into an AI engine? Using Gen AI, generative AI, it actually gives me that, okay, these 48 projects, fine, don't worry, everything is fine. On these 30 projects, these are 2 things to be taken care, please take care of that, or this guy can take care, be done. But these are the remaining projects where you have to really focus a lot. And on these are the 7 points on which you need to focus. Otherwise, your projects could go for it. Now, all this to do for 100 projects or more manually is impossible. And the guys who are reviewing it, for example, if there's a CEO or a CFO or whosoever or CIO who's to review it, if you are reviewing 100 projects, fourth project you'll say, बहुत हो गया यार, मैं थक गया, नहीं होता, तुम वही चीज बोलते जा रहे हो. But Gen AI is giving you a final report of a 2-pager report that forget all those, just concentrate on these 8 points and all your projects will be on. That is where it will really help, and it's already helping the organization. Coming to negative side, I think security is a big issue. So AI to me is a double-edged sword. We think that as companies we want to improve our security posture, look at all those things which are coming in, analyze them using AI. But attackers are also using AI. So they are smarter.
Yeah.
So are we really doing that? And then there are people who are deliberately putting all their data. So you get into any of these Gen AI models and you're just putting in all your details over there.
Right.
So AI has its own positives, it has own negatives. There are issues from job displacement perspective. There's a big discussion going on. Right. So we know that there are a lot of kinds of jobs which are kind of vanishing.
You agree on this?
There are a lot of jobs which are vanishing today because of AI. But there are a lot of jobs which are transforming also. New jobs are also coming in. So AI coders, algorithm writers, all those, they were never there around 2 years back. But now they are, or data science, people have even started doing engineering courses are there, specific engineering in data science, AI, which was not there. So that means there are many job opportunities also coming in. So there's a particular type of jobs which are going. There are particular jobs.
If you can name few, sir.
On going.
Yeah, the industries where or the profile which is.
In fact, almost all industries, there would be low-end jobs, coordination jobs, which are going.
Content work, right? That is also.
Content work, of course, a major one. Content works, you are into that field, but I think content work is a big way. People would write content, people would generate all those videos, ads, first quality ad, second ad, write 2 commands, prompts, and you're done.
Creativity, content, these are the major.
I think, yeah, creativity to my mind is a good point. Somewhere I feel that there are times creativity is taking a lot of hit because of that.
Because even these days, even we are not using our mind to think something.
Creativity is.
Yes. And sir, your final advice would be on AI uses. If you want to advise all the CIOs and CTOs that this will be my advice, because cyber attack is one of the concern. They are more smarter than us, and they can check your vulnerability plus where to get into the network. So what will be your advice to all CIOs, CTOs, both young IT leaders?
From AI perspective?
Yes, from AI perspective. So you need to take care on these 2-3 points.
I think the first thing that any IT leader, senior or junior, middle level, whatever that level is, from AI perspective, is to understand as to what AI is all about. Enhance his or her own knowledge. People are talking of agentic AI today. Do they really understand what agentic AI is all about? How does it technically work? Till I don't understand that, I can't, even if there are negatives into that, I can't even know. I talk about, okay, your models could have bias, they may not be fair, they need transparency, they need explainability. But if I don't understand what these words actually mean, then whatever I say is fine. So they have to first enhance their knowledge. The second, any AI implementation has to be only if it is generating some value to the organization. So my favorite thing which I speak again don't do a project just because you want to win an award or you have to showcase in a magazine or a website. Do it for the organization. Do it for the organization, get the benefits over there and then go for the award and then go for not do it other way around. Right. So first look at what the objective, why I'm doing the AI. Second part. Third, when you start implementing this, focus a lot on AI governance. Because AI governance becomes an issue. It could be how you are training the model, on what data set you are training the model. Is there, the algorithms, are they fair? Is there bias in that entire thing? And these have to be updated on a regular basis. What algorithm or what data may be relevant today? After 3 months, it may not be relevant. How do you ensure that that's taken care? So that is what CIOs need to take care.
This you shared for the organization, larger organizations, your advices for AI implementation. But आज के डेट में लोग हर कोई यूज कर रहा है AI. आप देखो अभी ट्रेंड में इमेज है, गिबली इमेज, what did they say? They all are using that.
I could see, I think, your image was also Ghibli. No, it's not. It's pre-Ghibli days.
It was pre-Ghibli days. Okay, I use from Apple avatar creation. So I use this. So I just want to know because common man को एक बहुत ही fascinating लग रहा है ये चीज. इंटरनेट पे जाते हैं, इमेज अपलोड कर देते हैं और getting the pictures and all. इसके अलावा भी हर जगह यूज करें. So what will be your advice to common man like us? जो बच्चे भी यूज कर रहे हैं. So any advice for them? How AI can be empower them or can be?
So I think for me, let me just for them and even for organizations, I change the definition of AI. It's not artificial intelligence. If you really want to utilize the power of AI, I call it augmented intelligence, which means that how can I really use AI to augment my knowledge? So if I'm going to chat GPT and putting up a question, say a kid is putting, and you just get an answer and you say, no, I need 500 words, not 150 words. It redrafts and gives, and then you say, no, can you also add this? And finally you get an answer. You just cut, copy, paste and send it, or make some comma, full stop changes so that looks like as if you are wording. It is actually hampering your creativity a lot. It is not helping you. While you may have a short-term gain, you may feel that you are happy because you got that answer at a very short time. But reality is you never learned that subject or that topic as to why you were given. If I can utilize the same, that okay, I give a prompt that I want to do this thing, I'm studying this. Can you help me? What could be a good resources for this? And gives you 10 resources. And then you just scan through those resources yourself and then try to put your brains as to what the entire thing is all about. Suddenly your own knowledge would go up. But all of us want to take a shortcut. ठीक है, हो गया ना, 5 मिनट में लिखा, ईमेल भी वही लिख देगा, ये भी I want to write an email to Rajeev saying that this was good. So can you draft a nice email? It will write, and then you just cut, paste and send it. What is it help? I'm not utilizing my brain a lot. That's an issue. But is AI being used? The second negative first, and then I'll come to the second part. Lot of times when we give these prompts to AI back, we give a lot of personal information. We put in, I am this.
PAN card.
I'm studying this, 𝐒𝐚𝐬𝐿. So, while at one end people are talking of privacy, but reality is we are actually giving all our data out. We are putting all our images out. We are doing, so what are we doing? Why are we then talking of privacy?
We are sharing.
We are
public domain.
We are sharing, then looking at how many people have liked it. It's not just sharing. We actually want people to like it. They want people to comment on it. And then we talk about. So this is where I think, especially the younger generation, has to see as to where they draw a line of what information can be shared and what information should not be shared. What is hampering my creativity? What is not hampering? What is augmenting my knowledge or intelligence? And what is just an artificial intelligence which is there, which is not my intelligence? So people have to start making that change. Earlier they do it, better it will be for them, better it will be for the society. And also, from a partner's perspective, I think all of them are using AI. And if they are not, they should be using, because
in marketing they can use it.
In marketing, at the end of the day, any partner, whether the partner is a B2B partner, a B2C partner, whatever that may be, they have a customer.
They have a data.
They have a data. They have to take decisions in the organization. So, to make that data-driven organization, to ensure that decisions are based on data, to ensure that your customer is satisfied or delighted, your employee is satisfied and delighted, you can use AI a lot. Each of those businesses can use AI, for example, from a fraud detection perspective, which is a big use case which is there today. Each of those partners can use it to improve the quality of their outputs. Quality of output may not be just products, even the service quality, the deliverables quality. If I'm giving a quotation back, proposal back to my client, I can use AI to enhance the quality of that. So you need to see as to where you're using, but use it in a judicious way. Don't just do a cut, copy, paste.
So we need to take care about what we are sharing in AI, and sir, AI has something changed everyone's life, and as you also said that this is one of the game changer in our history, in tech history. Sir, we are talking about AI agent also. So I just, for my audiences, I need to know, because we are seeing a lot of brands are coming. Oracle has announced their AI agents. Salesforce has already announced their AI agents. So how do you see this? This is a very easy cake, just getting the AI agents and implementing in our respective, division of the companies where what is required. So do you think that this is a good move? Getting solution very easily. What will be your advice on AI agents adoption?
So I think how I see AI came in, then came in Gen AI, generative AI,
Right.
which really helped in ensuring that the AI gets used in the organization and it becomes mainstream. Gen AI has done that. Now come agentic AI or the AI agents, as you say.
Right.
A combination of AI, Gen AI, agentic AI, or Gen AI and agentic AI to a large extent will be really, really very good for the organization. If organizations use those agents, AI agents well, whether it is to take autonomous decisions, whether from workflow perspectives, any of the actions need to be taken autonomously, this can help them improve their productivity a lot.
Right.
So to me, over next 3 years, 4 years, if one technology which can really can be a big game changer beyond AI is using Gen AI and AI agents or agentic AI. That combination is going to be really very nice.
And that means majorly sir किस industry में ज़्यादा इसका adoption लगता है?
सारों में.
Across.
So if you look at industries, I think all industries are using or can be impacted by AI. Retail industry, of course, has been using AI a lot. Manufacturing, I know, is using AI, Gen AI a lot.
Right.
Hospitals, healthcare, entire healthcare sector has been using Gen AI. Even your real estate, for example, if you look at some of these examples.
So sir, AI agents are being used for a query, right? No? If I can understand.
Query is one part, yes.
Query is one
Query
part.
is one
Okay.
part. Query is one part.
Because suppose someone wants to buy something from e-commerce.
So I put an AI bot,
right, AI
which
bot.
is taking care of.
So
That's one piece, yes.
this is one piece.
Which is across all, because anyone would have a customer, so any industry that would have. But in healthcare, for example, I'm using AI. People are using AI from
In
drug
healthcare,
discovery,
it can be a
drug discovery perspective,
drug discovery.
better patient care. So when you get into a hospital, for example, so the nurse asks you a few questions. Okay, moment the nurse is asking, and there are in one of these places we have just so ask based on the questions you answer, the at the back end the questions to be asked are being changed based on the profile, and AI is actually seeing that okay, you are a male, this age group, you are coming from this ethnic part of it, this is what your habits are. So based on that, it will actually profile you and then ask you those questions rather than asking those standard 40 questions which 40% or 80% of that may be meaningless for you. So that's sure. And then based on that gives the full summary to the doctor to whom you are going, that this is what the person who is coming into you, and now you move forward on that. That's actually happening in hospitals in India. So I'm not even talking of.
तो सर ऐसे में तो नर्स की जॉब भी जा सकती है क्योंकि
जा तो बहुत सारी जॉब जा सकते हैं, हमने पहले भी डिस्कस किया, बट आई थिंक
बट आंसर तो वही कर रहा है, बॉट ही कर रहा है.
नो आई थिंक देखो माय व्यू ऑन जॉब्स व्हिच मे बी बिट contradictory. When computers came, people said जितने लोग सब चले जाएंगे. ERP 90s when I said 97 when I started ERP implementation. One of the biggest things used to be change management. I don't know whether you've heard of that word or not. Change management would mean that you have to take care of resistance to change. People were not willing to adopt ERPs. A huge resistance. Okay.
क्या परसेप्शन था, क्यों नहीं कर रहे थे?
That it will lead to job losses, significant job losses. Even we know that when various government organizations also, when computerization came in, there were a lot of protests. But today, everyone wants more and more computers. So did it lead to loss of jobs? In fact, in the same company, same departments, even in IT, if there used to be 10 people, today there will be 100 people, 150 people. The nature of jobs has changed. People have adopted themselves or adapted themselves to the new kind of jobs.
Skilled themselves.
Upskilled themselves, reskilled themselves, whatever. The same thing is going to happen in AI. Some jobs will be lost, surely lost. But there could be a very different set of jobs which will be coming in.
So, sir, AI definitely is, is a game changer, and you've already advised, for the organization and the common people how to use it. Be very specific to what prompt you are sharing, what information you are sharing. We'll have to be very vigilant about that.
Absolutely.
And so moving to next part, because in AI is one which is already, we are experiencing it, we are using it in our day-to-day life, day-to-day work, in fact. How do you see this, because अब आगे क्या होना है sir? Because, we are talking about edge computing, quantum and all. So how do you see the next 5 years will shape up the industry, especially Indian tech industry, which is one of the fastest growing industry?
See, technology would change. So new and new technologies would continue to come. AI, to my mind, would remain. AI कहीं नहीं जाती.
And AI used to be earlier also.
AI used to be there. So there are two parts to AI used to be there.
Right.
Of course, AI as a subject has been here for ages, like cloud computing.
Right.
But what has really, to my mind, two things which really have ensured that AI has become mainstream. One is availability of that kind of data. Earlier, you didn't have that kind of data, digital data, on which you can do pattern recognition or other stuffs or write your algos or train all the models. The second is compute capacity. You never had that computation capacity. So over the last few years, both these things have come in. Huge data, huge computation capacity, and that's where AI is now becoming mainstream or has already become mainstream over here. AI as a concept has been there for ages. Now, what in next 5 years? So AI would remain. AI would move to Gen AI, Agentic AI, and within AI, the models, for example, people are talking of LLMs and SLMs.
Right.
And so they are also changing. So diffuent learning models
That
are
is also part of AI only, no?
there. So there are a lot of, even in that, there are a lot of things which are changing. The way the entire outputs are coming. So there's huge research which is going on in the AI piece. But that's one piece. Now, there are a few other technologies. You spoke about edge computing, for example. Now, edge computing has been there again for ages.
Right.
But as I see, edge is going to increase a lot because of IoT. Now, IoT is one thing which many people don't talk about. That's also changing the world. IoT is Internet of Things.
Yeah.
So sensors on your product, sensors in your office, sensors in whatever, making smart homes, smart offices, smart products, they have sensors. Now, driving, for example, autonomous driving cars that we are talking about, Alexa, other things. Now, what happens in edge computing is, when you give that data, the information has to go back to cloud, okay? And then whatever processing happens, then you get a prompt back as to what. In edge, instead of this entire data traveling to cloud, can I do the compute or the entire thing, analytics, right at that point itself? Locally. So which means I don't have to put that data onto cloud. So it helps me from a privacy perspective, helps me from a latency perspective.
Yeah.
Okay. And few other things. And even the amount of data that you need to just put that data, some of the data may not be required after some time. So you just discard that data post that. So that is what edge computing is gaining a lot these days. Actually, it is helping improve the usage of AI, IoT, and many other technologies. That's what.
Which industries are using main? Any vertical? Across
all. IoT is being used by manufacturing a lot, by healthcare a lot, various industries. It's huge. A lot of companies are using it. And edge computing is also being used by many of these. Blockchain. So blockchain came many years back. But somewhere I feel that it really never took off the way it should have taken off. So over next few years, maybe it will come. It will not, I'm not too sure whether it will become mainstream over next 3, 4, 5 years. But there'll be enough and more use cases of blockchain. Whether it's smart contracts in purchase departments, finance department, in various others, healthcare is a big thing from blockchain perspective. So people are already exploring that. I'm not a crypto part. Let's keep crypto out. Okay. I didn't want to get into the cryptocurrency part of it. That's a big use case which is already happening. But I'm talking about normal organizations. So where blockchain can be used in a big way. So that will be there, but may not become that mainstream as AI. Web3 came in. Web3 came in as a big game changer, said that everything from Web2 would move to Web3, but I think
it slowed down, sir.
It has slowed down. That's why. So maybe there'll be again some things that might happen. Metaverse, which is people started with augmented reality, virtual reality, AR, VR, XR. Now Metaverse. Again, these are some of those things which over next 5 years could come up in a big way. People are already trying. So there are lounges in Metaverse. People have put in their stores in Metaverse, selling goods on Metaverse. So a lot of things are happening. But to my mind, as AI or Gen AI would get in, these may not be that prevalent. But over the next 5 years, some of these technologies would also come into play a lot.
Right. So anything we can't predict on technology, okay, but it's
you never know. Yeah. 30th November example I gave. Who knew that? So maybe tomorrow morning something new comes up which is in stealth mode. Today people are researching and suddenly comes up. Who knows?
So on the experience of your observation, you're observing things, how it has evolved. These are the 4 or 5 techs,
Correct.
You believe that this will go.
Quantum computing. Of course, quantum is a big thing. Right. Again, over next 3-4 years, to my mind, it's going to change a lot, especially from simulations perspective. Some of the industries, whether it is healthcare, whether it is automotive, all these Airbuses and Boeings of this world, which is so those industries would change.
Obviously, we should, you said earlier also that we should keep an eye on what is happening. So this is one also a message that we should understand what is going to happen in next 4 or 5 years, and we should plan accordingly our all strategies so that company remains.
So defense, aerospace, I think, you mind, quantum could play a major role in defense, aerospace.
When there is
healthcare,
more privacy or more data security is needed in those areas.
Yeah, actually, again, from that perspective, it's a double-edged sword. I'll put it. Say people are using encryption a lot today. Now, quantum computer can help you break that encryption in seconds. So then people are working on something called a post-quantum cryptography. That can I come with that encryption cryptography in quantum world which cannot be broken by a quantum computer. So there is enough work going on over there also.
And sir, you are also associated with Metaverse 911.
Yeah,
I saw in your LinkedIn. So what is it, this project is all about?
So basically it's AR, VR, XR as I spoke about.
Right.
So where there are a lot of things. So there's an experience center that has been put up, various use cases in healthcare, in other sectors, training, how people can be trained.
Right.
So there's a lot of work being done by this company.
And you are wondering what here?
So my role is more of an advisory role to the founding team. They come back. So
it's based out of Gurgaon, na?
It is based out of Noida.
Noida, okay.
Based out of Noida.
So
I had the honor of kind of inaugurating India's first Metaverse experience center with them. So
that's a good initiative.
That's a good initiative. Yeah. So they're also doing a lot of evangelizing, telling people as to how Metaverse can help.
So this will more be beneficial for the retail?
Not just retail, even for again manufacturing industry. For example, you have to train all my people on any new technology. Okay, I have to train my entire workforce, whether blue collar, white collar. Metaverse can play. I have to showcase to the visitors as to how my entire office is. Metaverse.
Right. So
I don't know. Maybe just I'll take, for example, Union Bank of India.
Yeah.
Of all the places. Okay. That's the first bank in India to actually have a lounge in Metaverse.
Okay. The first and the last, the other has also already started. Or
Union Bank was the first one. उसके बाद तो जो भी आए होंगे, I think around 2 years back.
So this is a history.
So it's not that it's only a particular industry which we look at. So even banking, and that too a public sector bank, they went into Metaverse.
This kind of vision government is showing.
Correct, absolutely.
Right. So those were the days, na sir. ये बहुत भी change आया ना. The technology adoption government used to be very late.
Now there are times when they are way ahead of
private one.
For example, UPI. If you look at UPI,
yes, UPI is a game changer. Global.
So not very many private sectors can even think of such level of projects.
Yeah. That's the power of Indian brain and Indian tech leaders who thought on this concept, and we did this. Now, a lot of for foreign nationals are purchasing these kind of
correct.
solutions.
So many countries, 18, 20 odd countries. Yeah, correct.
Great, sir. Sir, one thing before I move to your rapid fire. This will be my last one, because you have to rush somewhere and you are getting called, so we'll have to conclude this discussion. So, sir, Digital Personal Data Protection Act has been passed by Parliament, and soon it will be a law.
Correct.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Sir, how do you see organizations adapting to these changes, and what cultural shifts are necessary to ensure compliances? Because government is very vigilant on.
I think that's a good one and very, very topical. DPDP Act could become a law any day. Now, the key thing over here is the one word that you use, which is a culture change. So, lot of organizations, lot of Indians have a habit of collecting a lot of data. जो मिलता है, you put in a form, give this information. You are interviewing a candidate, you get 6 pages of all the data about him or her. Even otherwise, people are collecting a lot of information on websites. You go to subscribe a site, they'll ask you 40 questions many times, or surveys. Now, DPDP Act says that any data which is personal data in a digital form, it is the responsibility of the organizations to protect it at all times so that it's not misused. And if I, as a customer, want to recall that data, I can tell the organization that please remove my data. You have an obligation subject to certain conditions that it's not legally required and other stuff. So you'll have to act on it. Now, the biggest thing that organizations need to do is first understand the implication. And the penalties in DPDP Act are very high. They go up to 250 crores of rupees.
Oh God.
Now, you need to really work on ensuring a culture change, the word that you rightly used. That it is called data minimization, number one. I should collect only that data which I need, and not anything and everything about your grandfather and this. So why collect all this? This is not required. So data minimization is required. The second is I need to put in policies from a data retention perspective as to how much time do I need to retain the data. Third is who has a right to access this data. What happens in a lot of organizations is you ask me some question, I'll just download the data from in an Excel sheet, send it to you, or put it on your WhatsApp, you'll send it to 5 more people. The data is gone, personal data is gone. Where is my customer data, employee data, कुछ भी है. The boss ने मांगा, salaries दे दो, you'll create an Excel and just send.
आधा data तो सर कंपनी का आज WhatsApp पे होगा.
Correct. So that entire culture change has to be that the data, personal data cannot be seen as any normal data in the organization. And you have to put in enough and more safeguards to this. Because it is not just that you have to safeguard it. If you don't safeguard it, you are going to be liable to pay that penalty.
This is huge. ये तो
And this is huge.
बंद हो जाएगी सर.
तो इसीलिए huge amount of culture change, sensitization, where you sensitize people that okay, this is important. Whether you want to sensitize your HR teams, whether you want to sensitize your sales teams, whether you want to sensitize your finance teams, because everyone thinks that DPDP Act is about IT teams. IT is the least of those. Those in any case, they have that data. They'll put in access controls, they'll encrypt the data, all those things they'll do. But if data is lying in the HR team and the HR manager is sending it to another HR person, what will IT guy do? Or HR person during interview is asking so many things which are being put in the system. What can IT guy do? So it has to be sensitization across the organization, across the levels. That's a big thing. And of course, you have to put in those policies. You also have to see as to where the current data is residing. What is the current data that you have? Where is it residing? That's called data inventory. You need to, and then put in all the policies with respect to that. So a huge thing that people need to do.
It will be a major change, sir.
It will be major cultural change. And of course, there will be a lot of technological change also.
Right.
But major cultural change is required in the organization. It's not going to be easy.
Right. So
Implementing provisions of DPDP Act is not going to be easy.
that's why maybe the government is taking time to implement it.
No, I don't think so.
So ऐसा तो नहीं सर DND का होगा. DND भी ऐसे ही शुरू हुआ था. जब हमें कॉल नहीं चाहिए था, we should block the number and all. So this will be implemented.
I'm sure it will. It should be.
It should be.
It should be. Because the number of cyber attacks that are increasing, and people are becoming a bit careless about personal data. So it's important that in this digital world, your data privacy is taken care, or your digital data is protected. It's not just about privacy, but it's full protection of it. So that is required. So we need to do that.
Right, sir. In an organization, it's not a necessarily responsibility of the IT people to manage and protect data. It's about
it's organization responsibility.
Yes.
प्रॉब्लम यही आती है बड़ी सारी कंपनियों में. They think कि IT मैनेजर है, उसका काम है. मैं HR वाला हूँ, मेरे पास डेटा पड़ा है, IT वाला बेचारा क्या करेगा?
IT ने सिस्टम तो बना दिया, आप सिस्टम से बाहर जाके आप शेयर कर.
आपने एक्सेल में डाउनलोड किया, आपने शेयर कर दिया आगे किसी से, तो what do I do? What can IT person do?
That's very. This will be a major change in our, rightly you also said about the culture. The culture will change. How we work should change. It's betterment of common customers.
And it also increases the trust from an organization perspective. The customer feel trusted. कि हाँ मैंने इनको डेटा दिया, employee will be trusted. मैंने डेटा दिया, कहीं जाएगा नहीं.
और सर स्कैम्स भी थोड़े कम हो सकते हैं क्योंकि डेटा इतनी अवेलेबल है, कोई भी कॉल करके.
Absolutely.
In fact, कि my mother got a call last day. And he was saying कि he's talking from the bank and need her account number. So हम लोग train करते हैं मम्मी को. तो this is story and what I'm sharing because it's happening every day. My mom is getting a call from anybody's number, and this is happening because I believe personally that data has been compromised.
Absolutely.
And those people who is calling, they have all the information.
True. Right.
So, but we are fortunate when we are into tech and I'm able to save my mom's, balance and everything. But it's not fortunate for many of the people.
Correct, I agree.
So, what will be your, advice to those who are losing money? What should be a cyber scam बहुत हो रहा है.
See, I think 2-3 things that number one has to be careful. Extremely careful. For example, most of the people do not now today pick up phones from unknown numbers. Right. Second, even if someone asks you money or forget giving an OTP and account number, उसको तो भूल ही जाओ, वो तो no. So there are deep fakes which are coming up in a big way.
Right.
So they can clone your voice, they can clone the videos, and so be extra careful. Things, and there are people, for example, even people in corporate sectors, okay, who have given out money because they thought that their boss had called and they transferred money. In India, in Gurgaon or Delhi, as we speak, there are cases where they have transferred money. And these are educated people. And I'll not really blame them. But the call that comes, number one, it shows very much urgency. And it looks so real that you're tempted to do that. You have to do that. So you have to be extra careful when there's any financial transaction or any personal information that's being asked.
Right.
And of course, when we call up anybody now, the first thing comes digital scam, digital arrest, kuch nahi hota, and all that. We are all that. I think we need to be aware of all these things.
Right. So even government and a lot of agencies are doing towards awareness.
Banks, government. There's huge awareness, but despite all that awareness, people are.
Use technology has been playing a major role.
We started in the beginning. वो लोग भी smart हैं.
Yes. Right, sir. Sir, इसमें अभी डिजिटल अरेस्ट, so लोग एक न्यूज़ आई थी सर 20 दिन तक डिजिटल अरेस्ट. So how this can be possible and where we are going? Society is going.
Exactly. So that's where technology is a double-edged sword. It helps you, but it is the one which creates so much problems. When there's no technology,
right,
so these things never happen.
Right.
When you didn't have a mobile phone, so no one would ask you an OTP.
Right.
So that's how it works.
That will happen because we have to move forward.
So it's not that because of this you do not go ahead with technology. It is you have to go ahead with technology, but also put in safeguards.
Right.
That's where cybersecurity comes in. That's where role of AI in cybersecurity, role of awareness in cybersecurity comes in a big way.
Thanks for I really learned about this protection act because I was not much aware about how this will work. Thanks for sharing with me and my audiences. Thanks, sir. Moving to next part, which is I'll come to your some personal. We all are talking about कोई बोल रहा है 70 घंटे काम करो, कोई बोल रहा है पूरे वीक काम करो, फिर कोई बोला मेरे को मेंटल बैलेंस नहीं मिल रहा है. So ये पूरा जो सिचुएशन है अभी, there are a lot of discussion going on. So how do you see the current discussion which all are talking, even the bigger CEOs are talking, एक दूसरे को contradict कर रहे हैं, and Apart from that, how you manage your work-life balance?
So I think let's not get into what CEOs are saying, and I think because each one of them, there are a lot of times when I personally feel many of these comments are taken out of context. You just pick up one part of the entire comment and then people start debating and discussing. So let's not get into that, because those guys at that level, if they are saying something, there must be
Some reason and all.
some reason for that, and there must be some background to that. So let's not get. Coming back to my personal stuff, work-life balance, I think is important. Very, very important. But the problem is, while we feel it's important, we never do it. प्रॉब्लम वहाँ आ जाती है. मेरे को सबको पता है कि मेरे को ये करना चाहिए, बट कोई करता नहीं. Especially when I was CXO, I must admit I was perhaps one of the worst ones from work-life balance, though I was also heading HR and telling people to have their work-life balance, but मेरा अपना work-life balance ज़्यादा ही हालत ख़राब थी. So I would, for example, for almost 7-8 years, sleep daily at some 2 a.m. or 3 a.m.
Wake up early.
And wake up at 6, 7, and then be in office again at 9. Weekends would be.
कभी तो सर ऐसा हुआ अगर रात में भी रुकना पड़ रहा हो, कुछ क्राइसिस चल रहे हैं?
हाँ, मैं नहीं रुका कभी. अभी नहीं रुका. लास्ट 10-15 years नहीं रुका. Initial teams तो बहुत बार. But I would be awake. I'll be with them on phone.
बट बैकग्राउंड में घर भी जाते होंगे तो वो चीज लेके जाते होंगे कि क्या हो रहा है नहीं हो रहा है.
2-3 तो वैसे ही बजते थे. हर रोज 2-3 तो बज जाते थे.
तो बैलेंस तो हुआ नहीं सर.
I said I was not good at. मैं तो मान रहा हूँ. मैं तो इसमें बोल भी नहीं रहा. उससे पहले था the amount of travel that I used to do, global travel I used to do. So there's no work-life balance. So the balance was, but now last 4 years I think I now have a good touchwood control on my own time. I now understand the real meaning of work-life balance. So I've tried to do things so now I can have time for myself, so-called me time.
Right.
So I do that, and I think
You're just
now I know. For example, I'm now sitting with you, relaxed. So I know that I can.
yes. You're not getting call today. Saturday being Saturday also.
Or I'm not traveling or whatever.
Yes.
So I think it's not just this, but also now I can plan my day. That okay, I'm not doing this. I can have a morning
Yes.
cup of tea, spend time with family.
Yes.
So all those things are now possible.
Right.
But
you have never thought about going home on the time 6:30 निकल गए. So do you think that passion is very important, whatever the role you are playing? What would be your advice?
तो सच्चाई ये है. Passionate is right. But there is also a way of justifying why the work-life balance was bad.
Okay.
सच्चाई है ना ये.
Right. Sir.
So you also have to be passionate about the balance part of it, which I was not.
Yes. That's true.
But I think number one, you succeed in life only when you are passionate. Otherwise, you will not. So you do something. If you are not passionate, तो मजबूरी होती है. Then you'll never put in that extra effort. 6 बज गए, बैग उठाया, घर चले गए, कल की कल देखेंगे. Because you are not passionate.
And this is very common in young generation.
So I think touchwood, I was highly passionate from that perspective. But the key thing over here is, while you are being passionate, can you carve out some time for yourself also? I think that's what now I try to do. It's not that even today there are times when if I'm working on, for example, a couple of weeks back, 1 week back, I was doing some certification. So I started in one of these platforms. I started at some 10:30 in the night. By the time I completed, it was 4 a.m. and then I said, "चलो सोते हैं, सुबह आराम से उठ जाएंगे." Because then you have your own pace at which you can work. But it's not that you don't put in long hours. You're passionate about something, but you do it at not the cost of your health or your me time or your family time or those kind of things. That's also important.
Right.
So which I now find that it's something that I was not good at till around 21.
Right. So those were very tough days for you when you were going late at home.
I think tough days
family might
for
be
me,
missing your dinner.
tough days for me, but tougher days for family.
Yes, that's true.
ऐसा नहीं था घर लेट जाता, 10 बजे घर पहुंच जाता था, but then after dinner again शुरू हो जाओ, ऑफिस खोल के, whether it is calls, whether it's on your laptop, emails, this, that. So that really suffers. Your family time suffers. Your
That's a part of that's one part of being successful, because you have sacrificed a lot, especially the family time you have given.
and the family sacrifices perhaps are more than what you sacrifice. That's how I believe. So you to ठीक है, but they also look forward to have time with you, and you say no, I'm traveling, I'm going here, please pack my bag, जाना है.
जाना है, बस सुबह भी आ रहा हूँ, बैग लेके निकल.
हाँ, correct.
सर, आपने ट्रैवल भी बहुत किया है. You were sharing that you traveled more than 50 countries, and sir, I know कि इतना easy नहीं होता है. आपको जब आपने ट्रैवल शुरू किया होगा starting से, because you work for 𝐸𝐴𝐴 and other companies, so I'm sure that you might be traveling to different countries, different time zone, with no communication. सर उस टाइम तो शायद मोबाइल फोन भी नहीं कैरी करके जाते हो, जो आप कॉल कर रहे हैं कनेक्टेड हो. Initially. Right. So how do you see your experience of being traveling to much countries? या कोई ऐसा किस्सा हो जो आपको कभी ट्रैवल करने का लगे, भाई इस कंट्री क्यों आ गया मैं?
नहीं, I think बहुत हैं किस्से ऐसे. तो because when you travel to so many countries, so there are lot of good things that come up. There are times lot of scary things also come up. I don't know whether you want to hear a good thing or a scary thing.
You want to share?
A scary thing. Okay. So I remember, I think late 90s or early 2000s, around that time we were doing an SAP implementation at many countries. So there's a particular trip that I had to make in that trip I had to go to 2 countries only. It was Brazil and South Africa. First time in those 2 countries. After that I've been to. So I get into a plane, I think from Dubai or some place, or Frankfurt. It was a direct flight to Brazil. So I was sitting and there's somebody sitting in next seat. So this guy was, I think coach of some team or something like that. So generally chatting.
Unknown people.
I don't know. So there's some fellow passenger. Okay. Fellow passenger, and we just chatted around. क्या करते हो, कैसे करते हो?
Indian ही थे?
नहीं. He's Frankfurt, I think some other country. I don't even remember the nationality. It is 25 years back, but not an Indian at all. So he said he is going to Brazil. His flight was going to Brazil. He was also going over there. And he said, Achha, first time. I said, yes. Then where do you go? I said, go to South Africa for this. Where in South Africa? I told all those things. I can tell you something. Be very careful. I said, why? He said, these are words to one of the 2 most dangerous countries. I said, oh shit. I never knew that. And I said, no, my colleagues have never told that there are offices, a company office in both those countries. I said, no, I'm telling you the reality. Okay. So the entire trip, of course, it was a very amazing trip, and I really loved both these countries. But at the back of the mind, यार ये क्या बोल गया, वो डर लगा रहा था.
तो जब तक वापस नहीं आए होंगे,
तो दिमाग में रहता है कि कुछ है. But I think some of these things when you remember, so you feel, or being a vegetarian.
Oh God!
So that
you're too vegetarian.
I don't even take egg. So then it becomes a pain.
So कैसे मैनेज करते हैं?
Bread, butter, jam. फ्रूट खा लिया, जूस पी लिया.
कैरी करके भी ले जाना पड़ता है कभी?
कैरी तो नहीं कभी किया मैंने. कैरी नहीं किया कभी मैंने.
बहुत लोग सर कैरी करके.
बहुत लोग कैरी करते हैं, because generally the trips for me were very short. You'll just go for 2 days, move on, or go to 5 countries in one trip.
तो अभी ऐसे हुआ से कुछ खाने को ही नहीं लगा, 6-8 घंटे हो गए हम फीलिंग.
ब्रेड जैम तो कहीं ना कहीं कर ही लेते थे. ब्रेड जैम, केक्स, कुकीज, बिस्किट्स. बट
दाल चावल नहीं मिला.
दाल चावल ढूंढते थे. So we would go to a country and first thing we would say कि Indian दिखाओ कहीं. So Paris, for example, I spent a lot of time in Paris or US. Paris, we knew that these are 2 guys.
Right.
So जाते ही उनको बस दाल चाहिए, येलो दाल चाहिए और रोटी चाहिए और कुछ नहीं चाहिए.
अब हम लोग तो सर बहुत फॉर्चुनेट है, गूगल के जमाने में नियर बाय चीजें फाइंड आउट कर लेते हैं. बट आप लोगों ने
अर्ली 2000s कुछ भी नहीं था, तो गूगल में तो यूट्यूब.
और बताने वाला बंदा ऐसा मिल जाएगा, यहाँ से निकल लो वरना कुछ भी हो जाएगा. तो कैसे स्कैरी रहेगा वो ट्रिप. वी रिसेंटली बहुत बज़ बना, डीपसीक आया, अचानक से एनवीडिया का मार्केट शेयर नीचे गिरा, हर कोई बात करने लगा, बहुत कंपनीज ने सॉल्यूशन ऑन डीपसीक शुरू कर दिया, जस्ट बिकॉज इट्स at the cost of fraction of rupees which we were spending on ChatGPT, means on that platform. So how do you see this will be a game changer, or it will be just a bubble because it's a Chinese company?
I don't know. Let's forget the political part of it, Indian Chinese, but let me give you a conceptual answer on this one. I think to make any technology mainstream, you have to reduce costs significantly. So these are technological disruptions that come in. After Deepseek also, there are a few other people who have come in and who have reduced the cost further. Right. So let's not get in. But say, for example, when did mobile phones really penetrate in India? When one of the companies made it 1 rupee call. Prior to that, we had 32 rupees call. This phone, whatever I'm using today, when I started, it was 32 rupees call. It came to 1. So prices were declining. So same thing when you have to make anything mainstream and increase adoption. You have to come up with something which really reduces the cost significantly. And that helps in penetration of that technology. And people utilizing that technology a lot. So when did people, the smartphone, so I talked about a phone, which was that 1 rupee call which Jio had or Reliance at that time had come in. But when did the smartphones really take off in India? When your data rates really came down significantly. Yes. Earlier the data rates, so data was very, very expensive.
We are the cheapest one.
Now we are the cheapest one. Yeah. And that's why the amount of usage of, and what has that held? So while there could be some people who could say data rate kam kar de, isse nuksan ho gaya, no. The amount of advantage to the economy, people building a lot of apps on top of that and people utilizing the power of this smartphone because of data is so high. Same thing, when a particular company has come in, they have reduced. Of course, others will reduce, but the advantage is the penetration would come. So your volumes would go up. And that's where everyone will gain. So it's not that only Deepseek will gain. OpenAI would gain, others would also gain because the volumes would increase a lot. Right. So to me, this is good. And they will also learn from them as to how they could reduce, and they will also reduce. And that's so it's already happening. It's already happening. That's what I'm saying. So those are cycles. And I spent lot of years in pharma industry. That's how pharma industry also works. So there was someone who will have a drug at particular rate, someone will come at a lower rate, then people will do. Or there are times when you re-engineer processes to see what are the inefficiencies. There could be times in manufacturing industry, for example, there could be inefficiencies in your own system. The other guy is giving a particular product at X cost. You are not able to build that. It's not that you are making extra margins, but you are not able to do it. Because there could be certain inefficiencies or way of working which may be wrong or something different at your. So you re-engineer. That's where business process engineering came in. So that is how you improve. So to me, it's a good thing. That's how I see. And I think it will help the entire world a lot, including whether it's OpenAI and others.
Sir, I'll just move to my rapid fire section. This is very interesting for me. Sir, one technology trend people are overhyping right now.
A few, but if one I was thinking was perhaps Web3 and blockchain. Right. Blockchain, that entire thing. From a corporate usage perspective, is a bit overhyped. Right. It will take a bit of time.
Right. Thank you, sir. If you could swap roles with any global tech leader for a day, who would it be?
I think that there could be many people in my mind, but perhaps...
You admire many tech leaders?
No, you asked about swapping part. So let's talk about swapping part. So Sam Altman, for example. The amount of... It's not because of anything else, but the amount of changes that are happening in AI world or Gen AI world. I want to see that. Actually, वहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है? Yes. If you just be there for one day, you'll know what the world is going to see in next 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Because those guys are not thinking of 2025. They are thinking of 26, 27, 30. I don't know which year. I don't even know which year they are thinking of.
So obviously.
So that is what I want to see.
बट से बहुत पेनफुल रहा है अभी उनका अभी इतना सर्वर ब्लीड कर रहा था उनका ग्राफिक कार्ड यूज नहीं अभी दे रिलीज एन स्टेटमेंट आल्सो कि प्लीज गिव आवर इंजीनियर सम टाइम टू स्लीप
वो वाला दिन में वो वाला पार्ट मिस कर दूंगा मेरे को तो सीखना है यू आर सेइंग जस्ट फॉर वन डे
राइट हां फिर अगले डे ले लेगा अपनी परेशानी लेके राइट सर what would be your advice one book which every leader should read especially in tech?
I think for me reading is one thing which is very, very important. And people have lost that art of reading or habit of reading. Even if you look at when I do normal office calls. If you look at the background, I would have a huge library. So, a lot of books, but let me just say two instead of one.
Yeah, please.
Many that come to mind, but आपने एक पूछा तो. One is a recent book, not so recent, Winning in Digital Age. I think it's by Nitin Seth. Fantastic book from a digital transformation perspective, since the audience is IT leaders or the wannabe IT leaders. So that actually gives good frameworks on how to go about digital transformation, what to do, not to do, those kind of things. Basics and of course practical aspects also, not just the basics, but going two steps down also. Say Jim Collins, Good to Great. That's a fantastic book as to how you can make your organization great. That when you are making your organization great, you are actually becoming much better leader also.
Sir, the most exciting technology trend right now?
I think you spoke about it. For me, it's a combination of Gen AI and Agentic AI. That to me is the most exciting thing, which will really.
And major talks are happening on these.
Major talks, major implementations. People are talking about it. People are working on it, thinking about it, what to do, and how it can help.
Great. Sir, one leadership lesson that has stayed with you. Now you're taking a different role and doing a lot of other activities also. But that one has taken to you with the works.
Yeah. So I was lucky initially that I got some real good lessons in my life from various people, leadership lessons that have stayed with me. So maybe one or two I'll say. My very first boss, I was what, 5 days in the organization, 7 days in the organization. My first organization, never seen corporate world much before, except the internships and things like that. So we were discussing something, and he said that when you're in job, keep your ego outside. Don't bring your ego to office. Be humble. So humility and not having ego is very, very important. Another lesson is don't think that whatever you have learnt is how the world works. Because the world is changing on a daily basis. So you keep yourself updated. So that's where my own habit of doing so many certifications and masters and all that. And I do that even now, as I told you a few minutes ago. So I keep myself updated. And the third last lesson I would just say, and there are many others, but last lesson is that treat your team and other members in the organization as your family. So आपके सब परिवार है. So when you treat them, so there are times when you don't like what they are saying, but you still live with them.
Right.
You forget, and there are times when they don't like something what you say. But all of you are jointly working towards one big goal.
Sir, if you were to start a business from scratch today, what sector would you pick and why?
I think it will be a combination of two things. Two of my personal passions. One is technology and other is sustainability.
So what does a perfect weekend look like for you? इस वीक को छोड़ के ये तो आप हमारे साथ वीकेंड सैटरडे को.
ये perfect weekend है.
Oh.
This is a perfect weekend. This is an example of perfect weekend. So again, after 21, the concept of perfect weekend has changed. So perfect weekend would mean that you get decent time to meet someone, discuss some of these things, spend time with family, read, relax. That's a perfect weekend.
Sir, before I conclude this discussion, it has been a wonderful talking to you. But let's sign off with a message to all friends, your colleagues, your juniors who are now CIOs and CTOs. So, what will be your message to them? If you can look into this camera and say, please.
So I think few things. Number one, whether it's colleagues, juniors, many CIOs today have been part of my team, and I always feel happy that they are contributing a lot to the society today. So first of all, would be a big thanks to each one of them for being part of my journey over the years. Now, coming to digital part of it, we should always remember that digital transformation, usage of IT, technology in companies is here to stay. And for that, you as the IT people, IT leaders, should feel really lucky that you are the ones in your organizations who are the catalysts of this change. You are the ones who are leading this change or implementing this change or are part of that change. So please ensure that you do your stuff best. And for that, number one, of course, you keep yourself updated. Number two, when you are going back into your organizations and doing anything, ensure that whatever you deliver has to deliver value to the company. It's not for any awards or any of the other things, it's for the company. Please collaborate a lot with all your other business stakeholders. Anything that you do in IT is not for IT alone, it is for the company. And please ensure that you collaborate, whether it is CFO, CHRO, other CXOs, or your CEO, or even people. And fourth, I would say is always ensure that your team members, your other stakeholders are always taken care. And when you look at, when I call the team is not people who report into you only. It's an extended team. For example, all your other partners are part of your team. Some of the startups with whom you are working could be your team. Some of the vendors with who are providing services to you are part of your team. So please ensure that you work towards their development also, because if they do a good job, if they are motivated, you will grow. Otherwise, that could become a constraint for you. And finally, something, the fifth one, which I didn't do, first four ones, of course, I always try to do. Fifth one is the work-life balance. Try to see if you can. I know it's not easy. ज्ञान देना मेरे लिए आसान है, मैं खुद नहीं कर पाया था work-life balance. But if you can do, it will be good for you.
Sir, please keep working like this. We need lot of inputs, information, and guidance. Not for us, for all the tech leaders who wants to learn to you. They need your support and guidance.
Thank you, Rajeev. Thank you for all your kind words, and thanks for inviting me for this show. And take it easy with Rajeev.
Yes,
and
sir.
I think, to me, this series will really be very good. You will become one of the top journalists in the country, and
Thank you so
people
much.
would really love. I wish you all the best, to you, to your entire team, family, everyone over here, so that all of you really achieve those heights which you are capable of and you are dreaming of.
Right.
So best wishes to each one of you, and thank you to the entire team who's sitting out here.
Yes.
I think they have done a wonderful job. Nice guys.
Thank you so much, sir. This can't be, better than this, getting such kind of wishes and compliments from you. For now, thank you so much, sir.
Thank
it's
you
a
very
pleasure
much.
talking to you all.
Thank you. Best wishes.
Thank you.